Hello and welcome to episode 38 of the Roma Revolution. I'm Ben, and coming up on today's episode we have a Serie A away game against Sassuolo, and that is followed by our big Champions League tie, the second leg against Chelsea. Obviously we take a 0-0 draw from the Olimpico back to Stamford Bridge. Can we come away with a victory or a score draw and progress to the next round? Since you were last with me, however, we've played a couple of Serie A games. One against Inter Milan, it finished 2-2. We went behind for a Vinicius Junior strike for them. Paredes equalising, Ramos then with a penalty putting us ahead. But Romelu Lukaku spoilt the day in the 76th minute. A really even game, potentially one that we actually deserved to lose with some of the chances that Inter had. But we came away with a draw, and then the form was back with a bang when we beat Cittadella 5-0 in the last game. 2 for Pedro, 1 for Camavinga, 1 for Pellegrini, and 1 for Almada. A really good rounded performance, and that means we are still atop of Serie A, 2 points clear now of Juventus, 3 of Inter, so we do simply need to keep winning. However, the team for today's game then against Sassuolo is this. We've got Vulca Falanese in goal, a back three of Mancini, Upamecano and Basia. Miranda on the left, Florenzi on the right, with Camavinga in behind Pellegrini and Riccardi in midfield. And Thiago Almada plays in behind a new star, Pedro. He can't stop scoring. Hopefully that continues here. He's looking like a really good signing and potentially a player that might well partner Caio Jorge when he returns from injury, and we can see if we can get a many amount of goals from them. Sassuolo, obviously a team I think we've got an affiliation with. We offer them some loan players every now and then, so they should be fairly well known to us from the scouting. We've got faith in the boys though to go out there and put a victory on the board. The assistant is off to the tunnel, and here we go. Every game in Serie A now seems quite big regardless of who it's against, and there's an early highlight for Sassuolo with Chula with a corner in. Barashki, it's a really early goal for Sassuolo. Barashki heads in, and it's a really poor start for us as Roma. I say every game's a must-win game. We're going to have to come from behind to win this one. A well-whipped-in corner, unmarked in the middle of the box. We're going to demand more straight off the bat because a victory simply is all we need. And we can't have a loss against this team. They're sitting in 13th. They would go up to 9th with a win. But that is the worst possible start for the Roma boys. We're going to ask for a bit of creativity. Hopefully we can turn it round. But that could be a killer blow if we lose today to our Serie A title hopes. As I say, it's all still tight at the top. We just need to keep getting the points on the board. And at the moment, we're not playing well enough at all to be looking like we're going to do that today. A really well taken header, to be fair, from Sassuolo. But it's put a real dent in our ambitions. And at the moment, we've seen nothing more of the game, and have Sassuolo potentially set up shop after scoring that early goal. It seems like they might well have done. We're going to get extremely aggressive at half-time. This needs to be turned round in the second half if we're going to have any chance of remaining at the top of the league. Juventus play Napoli, Inter with a slightly easier game as well. So obviously they are likely to be up with us at the end of the episode if we can't turn around this result. And it's really, we've not got anyone really playing that well, but here is our first chance. Pellegrini on the edge of the area. We're going to go to VAR. It looks like it's outside the area, so this isn't going to be a penalty, but we're going to check it anyway. Here we go. I'd be very surprised if it was, but if it is a route back into the game. The ref's at the little telly. Here we go. I don't think it's a penalty. I think it's going to be called outside the box, but we still have a good chance. If it is no penalty. It's a free kick. So the offence happened just outside the box. So we are going to get a free kick potentially. Benassi also has been booked. We're not going to see the free kick. It obviously wasn't worthy of a highlight. But at the moment, I'm thinking we're going to go very attacking. And we'll just see this highlight before potentially making a couple of substitutions. Miranda wins it well. Almada getting it off of Basia. Florenzi, Basia, we need to get rid of this. Camavinga, Florenzi finds Pedro. Is this the chance we need to get back in the game? Riccardi surging down his right-hand side. He has a shot from distance. It's well wide. And at the moment, this game looks like it's not going to be going in our favour. And even after that, Riccardi not having a great game. So he's going to come off and Cristante can come on. He's going to switch over with Pellegrini in the middle there. Pedro not having his best game either after I was bigging him up at the start of the episode. So Patrick Schick can come on to play up front. As I say, we're going to go very attacking. We're going to take shoot on sight off. Maybe potentially having too many shots from long range. But we're going to see if we can just grab even a goal now at this stage. I'd take a point, but the game is well and truly not been going in our favour. And we really need to find a goal from somewhere. And at the moment, it just doesn't look like it's going to be coming. We're going to demand more. But the concern now is that it looks like we're going to have a 1-0 loss to start the episode against Sassuolo. One last change to be made then. Juan Miranda struggling for a bit of fitness. Donati's going to come on for him. Almada's going to go attacking in there. And actually he can have Pellegrini for company in there as well. He can become a shadow striker. Camavinga can go as the playmaker in the centre of midfield. We'll go a bit more like that. See if we can just grab a winner. Equaliser rather, from somewhere. But at the moment it's been a fairly drab game from both teams really. We've only seen 2 highlights overall. And we've just not been good enough. But we have at least still got 5 minutes. And 1 goal would see us level the scores. But as time ticks by, it's looking more and more unlikely. And it looks like we're going to have come away to the Sassuolo army. And we have suffered our 4th defeat of the Serie A season. But what a time to suffer that defeat. A really poor performance from the boys. We're going to get aggressive with them. It wasn't good enough. We should have been winning the game. And that might well be a concern of form going into the Chelsea game, which I'll see you for in a second. Here we go then, the big game of the episode. It's time for our second leg against Chelsea. We go back to Stamford Bridge, 0-0 from the Olimpico. An away goal could be massive. Can we go and do it? We'll find out now, and the team we're looking to do it with is this one. We got Falanes in goal, Mancini, Upamecano and Basia as always at the back, Miranda and Florenzi on the wings, with Tonali, Paredes and Pellegrini in the midfield. Almada plays behind Pedro. A couple of changes from the team we saw lose to Sassuolo. Hopefully the changes can prove to be the difference in the 2 games. Talking about the Sassuolo game, results did go our way. Juventus drew with Napoli, Inter did win, but we have a better head-to-head over them. So we are currently still top of Serie A, but it is far tighter than it was before. Looking at the Chelsea team then, a few changes from that first leg that we played against them. One very notable change is Erling Haaland is now up front. So that is going to be a massive, massive challenge that we'll have to overcome, but hopefully we'll be able to do so. We're going to go out and try and prove to the media that they're right to back us up. As always, we do have faith in the boys. The assistant is off to the tunnel, and here we go. Another huge Champions League game on the series then. Can we do it? Can we continue our defence of our crown? It's going to be a tough ask coming away to Stamford Bridge. But if we can just grab the first goal, a big away goal, it might well just sway things in our favour. We're going to ask for a bit of creativity, looking like it's going to be very similar to the first leg. If you can remember, we didn't see much of that at all, but it seemed to be very even. And so far, it looks exactly the same as that. Perhaps 2 teams that are very similar in style, very similar in the way that they play, and their abilities are coming up against each other here. And it is going to be a really big ask for one of them to be knocked out. Looking at other results, we are, I think, now the only Italian team left in the Champions League as it stands. Milan and Juventus have both been knocked out. So if we could continue the Italian run in the Champions League, that would be awesome. But there is a Chelsea highlight, it seems. Tolisso finds Gabriel Jesus on this right-hand side. He's cut across. He's beaten about 4 or 5 men. The finish wasn't up to standard, but that's the first we've seen of him in both ties. And it's a really good start for him. And Basia with a header over from Pellegrini's whipped-in ball. That could have been a massive goal just before half-time. It wasn't to be. Gabriel Jesus cutting in from the right-hand side. It's the most we've seen from him in both legs. We're not pleased with what we've seen. We've just needed a little bit more. As I say, I think one goal might well make this for us. No one really having that amazing a game. We're going to ask to demand a little bit more. Lots of 6.5s and 6.4s knocking about. It's not been the most thrilling, entertaining game, both legs. But just a goal that could potentially see us through would be huge. And with just under half an hour to go, we are going to start making some changes because there are some poor performances going on out there. It's one of those, looking at it, I could potentially change the whole team, but we're not going to. Zaniolo's going to come on, Mr. Champions League. He's going to come on for Armada. He seems to just struggle in the bigger games, so that might be something to look at going forward. We're also going to get Paredes off. He's just back from injury, not having the greatest game, so Brian Cristante can come on for him. I want to keep the big two, Pellegrini and Pedro, on the pitch. They are potential game changers. And here we go. Oh, Pedro's hit the bar from a Pellegrini corner. Just as I was talking about them both being game changers, we almost get that first goal, but it wasn't to be, it would seem. Pellegrini with a great ball in. Pedro gets his head on it. Oh, and it's hit the bar. How crucial could that be later in the game that didn't nestle in the back of the net? You would have banked your money on it that Pedro would have scored. The form he's been in, but it's looking like as time's ticking by. We've had a few more shots than Chelsea, but we just haven't nestled one in the back of the net. And is that going to come back to bite us, as there is a Chelsea throw deep in our half, and it's Leon Bailey who's taking it. It's to Ethan Ampadu. Back to Bailey, cutting across like Jesus did earlier. It's in the back of the net. Chelsea may well have just scored the goal that sends them through to the Champions League quarter-finals. It may well have chucked us out as well. Patrick Schick's going to come on for Pedro. Zaniolo's going to become a shadow striker. We're going to go very attacking. Oh, that could be the killer. We've played okay, but we've just not taken our chances. And Leon Bailey on as a sub for Gabriel Jesus did exactly the same as Jesus did in the first half, cutting inside. But this time the finish was top-notch. Farines potentially should be doing better. But with just over 10 minutes to go, we need the goal. The goal that would send us through if we can score it. But if there's another Chelsea goal, then we are definitely on our way out. And it's Leon Bailey again, who's caused problems since coming on. Ampadu to Tolisso. Can we nab the ball off them? Ampadu again. Tolisso in the middle. He's found Marquinhos on this left-hand side, who's just breezing past Florenzi. Leon Bailey heads wide. He's been the real game changer so far. We've just got 5 minutes. We're going to have to chuck everything at this. Pellegrini's going to go up and play with Zaniolo as an attacking midfielder. Tonali's going to come in and play in the DLP role in there on support. Cristante's going to become a Mazzala on attack. We're just going to have to chuck men forward for 5 or so minutes to see if we can nab the goal that would just put us through. There's another highlight. Can we win it off of them? Christensen, Reece James at the back on the right. Almost pressed well by Pellegrini. They've gone all the way back to Danny in the goal. Hudson-Odoi on the left. They've worked it well around our press, but if we can nab it off of them in the middle. But it's that man again who's causing us all the issues. It's Leon Bailey. He now finds himself on the left this time. Cristante almost wins it off him. Tolisso, Haaland, Hudson-Odoi, 2-0 Chelsea. No, it's for great save by Farines. I think Hudson-Odoi might have been offside as well, but it was a great save. But time is ticking through, and it looks like we're going to see an episode where we've lost both games, and our Champions League defence is over. A game potentially that we should have won. We had so many chances. Pedro had the opportunity to head home. He couldn't quite. It's a really disappointing episode. A really disappointing 2 performances. And form really does need to turn around if we're going to pick up Serie A. Champions League won't be this year. Our defence is over. And looking ahead to the next episode then, we will come back for this. The Coppa Italia final. We'll combine it probably with Juventus unless Milan sneak up above them. We'll basically combine it with whoever's closest to us in the league at the time. But a really disappointing episode. It's about the time we usually have our blip, but it needs to stop now if we're going to pick up some silverware again this year. I hope you have enjoyed today's episode, and if you have, please leave a like down below for me. If you're new or not yet subscribed, then please do also subscribe to the channel, and thank you all for coming along and watching.